Hello and welcome back to Bella Star Astrology. I'm your host and astrologer, Stella, and we're here to go over the August 2024 transits as well as the horoscope for your sign. We'll begin with the overall overview, and this month is going to be very interesting. Lots of new energy when it comes to what we're trying to do in the world, as well as maybe getting some clarification about what our thoughts are throughout this journey. This month brings really impactful beginning with August 4th. Venus enters Virgo, Mercury goes retrograde in Virgo, and the new moon is present in Leo. So, what we're seeing here is that on a personal level, we're going to have a lot of these personal planets impact us. Seeing as Venus will be in Virgo, there'll be a lot more love, a lot more interesting times when it comes to what we're trying to accomplish, maybe some luck when it comes to our work life, our pets, as well as some interesting information coming to us from the Mercury retrograde. Maybe some battles you've been having internally to be able to go over them again, over the plans again, to see if they are right for you. And that new moon in Leo highlights how we are the stars, right? We're the ones who have to put our best foot forward. And if we hold ourselves back, even in retrograde, we might not get the results that we're hoping for. So always remember that that new moon in Leo is going to be connecting you maybe to a new plan you have to set out, maybe to some goals you have to set. Now, don't forget, of course, that the month moves on, and on the 14th of August, Mercury enters Leo in retrograde, and on August 19th, there'll be a full moon in Aquarius. Now, this is sort of giving the energy of the battle between your individual self as well as your external, what you've been trying to accomplish. So that full moon energy is just going to bring an end to maybe some of the hesitation you've had around the goals that you've been trying to make, or some of the friendships that are coming into your life. They might be better than the ones you've had before, or you might be looking towards new ways to connect with some of the goals and long-term dreams you've had, as well as that Mercury entering Leo in retrograde. We move from this information overload of Mercury in Virgo to sort of this idea that our minds are very much tied to our self-esteem. So maybe you're going to go out there and you'll be a little bit hesitant because of the fact that it's in retrograde, but remember to reinforce your self-esteem, remember to stay positive, and to look for ways for yourselves and for others to be pulled up. Look for ways to help everyone around you and to have some fun, of course. Then on August 22nd, the sun will enter Virgo. And that is the best time of the month to deep clean, to declutter, to look for new ways to help others, to serve. If you are not already a volunteer, maybe look for things to volunteer with. Also, purging, getting rid of some of the old stuff you have, while also helping others, of course. So look for ways that you can maybe give to the goodwill or to your local organizations, and maybe just not in terms of service. It could also be related to your work as well. They'll be highlighting some, efforts you've been making or efforts you need to make in the future in order to be more present or more supportive of your work and your teams. Then on August 28th, Mercury goes direct in Leo. And we're finally out of this Mercury retrograde buzz that's been going on. We've been contemplating how we give, we've been contemplating our esteem and how we hold ourselves, what things we consider to be good or fun, the things that we value. And now Mercury finally goes retrograde in Leo, bringing back that energy from earlier in the summer when Mercury was in Leo, and you sort of had more energy, more light, more fun. Go with the flow with this and definitely communicate with people about what the other things that you like to do, the hobbies that you have, maybe the ventures that you'd like to go into, whether that's work or not, or whether you can make something that's your, just a hobby into something that you can take further, right? Then on August 29th, Venus finally enters Libra, and we just see ourselves more sort of in this balanced area of our lives when it comes to love. Remember not to get too carried away and to really look at people, judge people that are coming into your life, especially your love life. For those of you who it does hit impact in their love life, make sure that you vet people because at the end of the day, that Libra energy can get really carried away because we want to see the best in people. But at the end of the day, we have to go to the nature of Libra, which is to judge and to measure and to see the good and the bad, and maybe to accept it, but maybe to not invite it into your life if it's not something that you want. So good luck this month. And now let's go to the forecast for the individual signs. And hello, all my fellow Cancers out there. This month is just going to be a really interesting time for you and maybe some of your acquaintances, some of your friends, extended family. What have you been investing? You will receive, right? So, of course, we begin with August 4th. Venus enters Virgo as well as Mercury goes retrograde in Virgo. This is really hitting your third house. This is all about your friends, well, they're really not your friends, your extended maybe acquaintances, people that you might consider are in your circle, right? How do you interact with them? What do you do? They might bring you a lot of luck this month. They might actually have, some communication that's misunderstood, as well as your extended family. Maybe it's time to connect with them in some sort of way, but this retrograde is going to bring a little bit of challenge to it. So make sure you're signing everything, dotting your I's, right? Crossing your T's, and all of the contracts that you enter into, especially when it comes to vehicles or things that you are working on, are perfect. You don't want any mishaps or misunderstandings. Make sure you create the best environment around you when it comes to the activities that you do with your family as well. Then we also have on the same day new moon in Leo hitting that second house. There's some fresh energy around how you're going to be making income. Maybe you have new goals in mind. Maybe you attract new clients. Maybe you have new things that you value, new ways that you express that energy and how you create in that way, right? Of course, there's going to be a lot of maybe conversations around how you're going to get this done. But don't worry, just make a list of the things that you want and wait for divine or God or whoever you believe in to really step in and work with you to create it, right? You're co-creating your future. You have the free will to make it happen. So now that those intentions and that energy is in the focus, some things might change. Of course, we also have in the middle of the month Mercury, as it's been retrograde in Virgo, entering Leo. This is going to be more energy towards what you've been working on. Of course, there'll be some delays. Maybe you purchased something and you're waiting for it to be delivered. Maybe your delivery got lost and you're just waiting for it to be found. Make sure you're always checking if you do order something during that time that you are, receiving it and compensating it. Or maybe you might have misunderstood what you ordered, and especially with Mercury retrograde, we might make an error. Like the car that you purchased in retrograde might not be what you wanted after all, right? Or the thing that you signed up for might be maybe smaller than you expected, right? Like a toy or something that you had gotten maybe for your child, and it's not the same one as featured on TV, right? As seen on TV. Then, of course, we go through that retrograde in Leo, and we're met with this August 19th full moon in Aquarius opposite that energy. And it's sort of kind of like a culmination of maybe an issue you've been having. Of course, all of this energy has now been around maybe your vehicle. And like now you're finally getting to the point where you own something, where you're the owner of something, or that there's an end to an income from someone else's perspective, rather, like the income that you make from others, or an inheritance is finally given to you, or signed to you. Maybe there's been some delays when it comes to this because of that retrograde, and now the full moon is here to just finalize everything, and the contracts you've been entered into, or the inheritance you've been waiting for, or even maybe like some of you might win the lottery. Who knows? Especially since you have a lot of activity in that third house of games. Like maybe there's a lottery winning that finally comes in on August 8th that you're like, thank God. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to win the lottery or anything, but this is sort of some of the play that can happen because third house is games and sort of that energy around the playfulness of the Gemini energy. Not that it's in Gemini, but third house is represented, or is the placement of where Gemini is traditionally. Um, and sort of that gamesmanship, that game that you entered into, or the connection that you had with your family, sort of brings you into a new set of, you know, income, wealth, etc. Especially since you have that energy around your money houses, Cancer, I wouldn't be surprised if something in your financial life changes this month. So good luck with that, but make sure you're extra careful. You read all those contracts with that Mercury retrograde, right? Then, of course, and if you need some support, you always ask for support when you're in retrograde. Whether it's a lawyer, a doctor, etc., always look for people when Mercury's in retrograde in your second house who can help you, and your eighth house getting activated by that full moon, of course. Then, of course, we have the sun entering Virgo. And again, we're going more into that third house energy. Who is it in your life that is most valuable to you? Spend time with them. Look for them, that extended family member. Maybe there's a family reunion that finally happens on this date, and you're all excited to be back together, right? And of course, that's August 22nd, Sun enters Virgo. And then on August 28th, Mercury goes direct in Leo. Now, I'm telling you, this energy around your money continues as Mercury goes direct. Now, let's say you did win that, game or inheritance or whatever. Mercury going direct means that you receive something, you receive the gifts of, or you clarify. Maybe there's been some delays and you clarify why this has been happening, or you clarify what in these what issues have been happening, and those things kind of go away, or they're kind of eased, or at least you understand why it's happening, right? Because that's the hardest part about Mercury retrograde. You're like looking for your keys, looking for your keys. Why did I lose them in the first place? At the end of the day, everything has a purpose. You're in the right place at the right time. So remember to trust that everything is always working out for you. And then finally, Venus enters Libra August 29th. And this month ends with probably the best thing that you can ask for, which is a little bit of ease when it comes to your house and home. Venus is going to really highlight that. Maybe you and your husband or your loved one get together and just have a really nice quiet night, and romance is in the air in the home, or you get a little rejuvenation, like beautiful things coming into your home, flowers, and just really nice gifts that you weren't expecting. Venus has a lot of gifts when she's in the fourth house, and that's probably the most fun. Venus is gonna be in her own sign, and that's going to be probably just the best part of everything, that after all of the difficulty of the beginning of the month, right, you finally get a little bit of ease when it comes to the end of the month. Well, my fellow Cancers, I hope you enjoy this month. Let me know if this helps. And as always, look forward to seeing you next month for your. All right, that's a wrap on today's personal reading for your sign. Thank you so much for listening, liking, and subscribing. If you would like your own personal reading, please feel free to DM me on Instagram. I'm taking clients now for their reading, as well as any questions that you might have about your love life, synastry readings, etc. So thank you so much for listening, liking, and subscribing. I hope you have a wonderful month of August.